this is all that I can find of it. Oh, crap. We'll see if I can find the other end, but I think this is gonna have to go bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel if you guys are new here. Hi, my name is Sydney. I film cruelty-free beauty videos 3 times a week. Today's video is going to be a full face of EMILYNOEL83 recommendations. If you guys aren't following her, how are you even following me? She is so incredible. She has such a wonderful channel. She shares so many insightful, thoughtful reviews, and she comes up with the most unique video ideas. I've been following Emily for, I feel like 9 years at this point. 8 or 9 years. It's been a very, very long time. I've loved her channel. I've loved watching her grow and her little family grow, and she's just one of my favorite people to watch. Like when I've had a really stressful day and I want to come home and just kind of unwind, I love turning on one of her videos to just relax. But this original video idea was actually from Bailey Lane Beauty. I will link her channel down below. I feel like she did a similar video with Kathleen Lights, so if you guys want to check that out, I'll link that video down below as well. But today, like I said, we're going to create a full face of products, which is this look actually, using Emily Noel's recommendations. She is someone who, like, when she recommends something, like, I know it's good. I always trust her recommendations, kind of not without second thought because I'm not buying mindlessly anymore, but she's one that I never question whether she's really being truthful. Her channel has a lot of integrity. She doesn't do sponsored content, which not if you do sponsored content you don't have integrity, but I just feel like I trust her implicitly. So if you guys want to see how I created this look and what kind of EMILYNOEL83 recommendations that I dug out of my collection, just keep watching. So per usual, we are going to start with the eyes. So Emily's true favorite eyeshadow primer, as I'm sure all of you guys know, is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I don't own that one, mostly because I feel like it wouldn't really work for me. I have very oily eyelids. I have heard that it's good for oily eyelids, but I have a lot of discoloration on my eyelids and I really like to kind of white that out before I start applying eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in with my Essence I Heart Color Intensifying Eye Base. I feel like Emily has talked about this and used it on her channel, and I feel like she does recommend it, but I feel like she loves that Milani one so much more. So I just really quickly blended in that eyeshadow primer with a sponge, and then I did set it down with the shades White Peach right here. So as you guys can tell, today we're going to dip into the Sweet Peach palette. I went through Emily's kind of video feed, and I looked through all the videos that she'd done and all the palettes that she had loved, and I didn't really want to go for a new palette. I don't know, I was in the mood to kind of shop my stash a little bit and use something a little bit older, so I landed on the Sweet Peach palette. And honestly today, you guys, we're not going to do anything super crazy. It's just not what I'm in the mood for today. I have to go like grocery shopping later and I have homework to do, so it's just kind of a low-key day. But I thought this would be a really great palette to dip into because this one has definitely not gotten a lot of love from me in the past couple of years. I was so excited to buy it. It was like my first ever high-end palette that I purchased, but I haven't used it a whole lot lately. So let's start out with the shade Candied Peach right here, and I'm going to take this on an M433 brush, and I'm just going to kind of wedge this in the crease. I'm not planning on this shade being super apparent once we're all done with this look. I just want to add some warmth to the crease. I'm going to go back to my warm neutral brown roots today. Okay, these shadows are much higher quality than I remember them being. For some reason, I remember them being good, but not great. So I'm really happily surprised by that. So next I'm going to go into this nice warm brown shade called Puree. I'm just going to take the same brush and we're going to do pretty much the same thing, but I am going to try to keep this a little bit lower. And now I want to take a bare fluffy brush. My usual bare fluffy brush is dirty. I need to wash my brushes after this. So I'm going to take this one from Mascara Cosmetics and just really buff and blend those edges out. I did feel like things got a little bit lost in the blending, so I did go in and take a little bit more of Puree, and I just kind of re-intensified my crease a little bit. So now I want to take the shade Summer Yum right here, which is a little bit of a deeper, more reddy shade, still on the same brush, and I'm going to pretty much do the same thing with this. I feel like Puree is just not giving me the impact that I want. So now I'm going to take the blending brush once again, just buff over those edges. Alright, so now we're going to switch brushes. This is a Wet n Wild crease brush, I believe. And we're going to dip into the shade right here. I forgot what it's called. Caramelized right there. And I'm just going to load this up on my brush. And I'm going to place this in my outer corner just to try to create some more depth. I feel like that's one reason why I don't reach for this palette quite as much. It's because I feel like it really is lacking in deep matte shades. I'm not really sure if I'm loving that. I don't know. I definitely wish I had a darker brown to use. I mean, this is doing an okay job. Alright guys, I feel like I'm having issues with getting the shadow in my outer corner. I'm just going to take that M433 that we used before just try to blend a little bit. I don't know, I feel like this outer corner is so difficult, especially like the past couple months. I've really noticed it. There's like a spot in my crease that refuses to like grab onto pigment. I don't know, I guess that's a little bit better. I went in with my finger and that seemed to help a little bit. But now we're gonna go in with the lid shade, and I want to take this shade Bellini right here. It's kind of this soft pink with like a soft gold reflect. It's really not a super intense. And I'm just gonna pat this on the inner half of my lid with my ring finger. Yeah, I feel like the formula on these shadows may have gone bad, or maybe just eyeshadows are getting better in formula, because I feel like this is not really giving me the pigment that I want. I mean, of course, I'm being a little bit sloppy with it, but still, I feel like I remember these being much more pigmented. I don't know, you guys. I'm not really digging my eye makeup today. I'm going to go back in with that Wet n Wild brush, and with no additional product, I'm just going to kind of rebuff over the edge just to try to re-intensify that brown a little bit. Alright guys, so I'm just going to leave the eyes there. I'm really not super thrilled with how they came out. I feel like those shadows have definitely expired, which makes me really sad because I feel like I didn't use that palette as much as I should have, but I'll have to play around with it a little bit more and kind of make some more decisions about it if I really want to declutter or if I want to keep it. But now let's move on to primer, and for primer I'm going to use my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Face Primer. I feel like I remember Emily talking about this one, and I think she said it was a good primer, but I don't remember if she touted it as like a super favorite primer, but it's the only one in my collection that I could really remember her saying much about, period. I don't have a ton of primers. I'm really not into primer at the moment because I kind of just like slap my moisturizer on and run out the door, but I thought we would use this for today's video, so I'm just gonna kind of pat that in the T-zone. Alright you guys, next we're going to go into a product that is very new to my collection and one that I've been loving so much, one that Emily also loves, and that is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. Emily has been raving about this, I feel like since it launched, and it took me so long to actually try it. I was trying to work through some other foundations in my collection, but I love this foundation, you guys. It's one of my favorites at the moment. I just feel like it has really great coverage, but it looks really thin and kind of natural on the skin. I'm just gonna blend that in with my sponge. I feel like this foundation is also one that she's been talking about for like a long period of time, long after it has launched. So she didn't just like do a review video and then never say anything about it again. I feel like this is a true favorite of hers. I'm just gonna... Alright you guys, and now I have to pull in a product that she didn't talk about because I really only have one corrector. I used to use the Pixi Correcting Concentrate in Brightening Peach, which is one that Emily talked about for years and years and years. But today I'm going to go into my Camouflage Concealer that I'm dropping on the floor, and I'm going to just apply a little bit of this with my ring finger under my eye. I thought about just kind of skipping corrector today, but A, I look exhausted, and B, I feel like Emily was the one who really introduced me to corrector, and that has been the only way that I've really found to effectively conceal my dark circles. Now that we've applied a little bit of that under the eyes, we're going to move on to concealer. So this one was a little bit tricky because I have a concealer in my collection that I know for sure that she's mentioned, but it's a little bit too light, so we're going to have to mix it, and that is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is a very full coverage concealer, but as you can see, the shade that I bought is extremely light, so I'm going to mix in a little bit of my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer. This concealer, I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. It's not my favorite, and it wouldn't be my first choice. I'm gonna apply just a small dot right there, and then I'm going to go, oh no, I fell on the floor. Then I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer and kind of do that on the rest of my eye, and we're gonna mix the two together. But that concealer provides beautiful high coverage, but I just feel like it ends up looking a little bit dry under my eyes. No matter what I do, no matter how I set it, no matter how I moisturize, it's just not really my favorite. I much prefer the Flawless Concealer. I believe those two launched at the same time, and I didn't hear like anyone talking about the Flawless Concealer, but I think it's wonderful. I'm just gonna apply a very small amount of the Camo Concealer on the other high points of my face so my under eyes don't look quite so overly bright. I go back and forth with this shade. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's fine if I highlight the rest of my face, but then I like look back at pictures of my makeup, or I like rewatch the videos where I was wearing it, I'm like, girlfriend, that is white. You need to get a different shade. Alright, you guys, so I have two setting powders to mention. The first one is the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. This one's like a really old Emily recommendation. She used to talk about this years ago, and I feel like I saw her use it maybe within the last couple months to set her under eye. So that's what I'm going to use it for today. I'm actually trying to use this one up and get it out of my collection. I feel like I've had it for a really long time and I don't really reach for it too often. So I'm just going to take this brush from BH Cosmetics. It's just a chubby little rounded brush. This one's from their White Marble collection. It's the number 6. I'm going to really load up the brush with some product. Tap off the excess a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in with my sponge really quickly just to tap out the creases. We don't want to set those in. And then we're just going to go straight in with the powder. I do like this powder. I think it's lightweight, but I just don't feel like it quite sets my under eyes enough. But you guys will see probably in the next couple minutes that creases will still start to form. And normally I would go in and set the rest of my face at this point, but I'm actually trying a different technique out today. I tried it out last night and it worked so beautifully. You guys have no idea. So the technique is to apply your bronzer, blush, and highlighter before you set your face and then set your face, and it gives the most flawless like airbrush finish. I saw it in Kelly Gooch's Tips I Wish I'd Tried Sooner video, so I'll link that down below for you guys if you're interested, but I want to try that today because I think it's so beautiful. So first you're supposed to start with highlighter, and I don't think I grabbed a highlighter. I really can't think of one off the top of my head that she's mentioned. I feel like she's talked about the ColourPop Super Shock cheek highlighters. This one's in the shade Flexitarian, so I guess I'll apply a little bit of this one. I'm just going to apply it on my little AOA Studio brush. The one thing that does really stick out in my mind when I think of Emily Noel and highlighters is how she always really buffs them into the skin. So that's what I'm, oh, that's intense. Oh, I didn't want to go that intense today. Well, I guess we're gonna be really glowy today. But she likes to really kind of work in those highlighters into her skin and try to make them look just a little bit more natural that way. So that's what I'm gonna try to do with this one. So next we're gonna go in with blush, and I have two picks for this one. The first one is the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne Blush Palette. I feel like she's been raving about this for like a solid year now, and if I hadn't won a giveaway from them, I would have grabbed it during this round of Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty. This palette is beautiful, you guys. It gives me the most gorgeous, juicy, glowy cheeks, and I really want to use this one, but my glow is already quite intense, so we'll see what I decide to go in with. But then I also grabbed out the e.l.f. blush palette. You guys can see there's a lot of e.l.f. in here. I feel like Emily just talks about e.l.f. a lot because they have really awesome products. But this is their original blush palette. This is one that I saw on her channel many a times. I purchased it the first time because of her, and then I think it shattered or something and I couldn't repress it. And then I repurchased it once again because I saw her raving about it again. So this one is such a goodie. I think I'm going to start with this one, and I think I want to let's mix these two shades. I've been very into mixing my blushes lately. And I'm just going to take this on a BH Cosmetics number 3 brush. This one's from their Rose Quartz set, I believe. I'm just going to start applying this. Oh my, that's very intense. To the cheeks. Emily does love a good blushy cheek. A little bit to the nose. You guys know how I like to do that. A little to the chin. Okay, yeah. So I don't think I'm going to go in with the Beauty Bakery palette just because I feel like we're already pretty darn glowy. Maybe I will after we apply the setting powder, but now I do want to go in with bronzer, and I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. bronzer palette. I'm telling you guys, Emily just loves these palettes, and I remember buying this one because she did like this whole video about like how there were like 4 different bronzer dupes in this palette, and one of them was Hoola, one of them was the Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer that everyone dies over. I can't remember what the other 2 were now, but I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna get 4 dupes for like $3, and I think I got this at TJ Maxx, so it was like $3 instead of the normal 6. Now we're gonna go in with a powder recommendation from Emily, and that's the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. I wish I had a cruelty-free option to share with you guys, but I really don't own that many powders in my collection, so this was the only one that I had from her that I've seriously heard her recommend. So I'm just going to dump a little bit of this out in the cap and spill powder all over my pants, of course. And then I'm going to take this big brush from BH Cosmetics and just get it up on there and start to buff this into the skin. What do you guys think of that technique? I feel like it looks really smooth and a little bit more airbrushed when I do this. I think I still have a very strong blush today, but I do think it looks a little bit more blended, a little bit more normal, if that makes sense. And I feel like the highlighter is just looking so beautiful. It looks more like I'm lit from within. I think this powder is fine. It's not something that I'm jumping for joy over or that I'll be repurchasing because it's not cruelty free, but I think it's fine. I don't know. I feel like Emily compared this to the Laura Mercier powder, but I don't see it. I don't like how it looks under my eyes. I don't think it does anything crazy for my skin, so that's kind of where I'm at with that one. So I don't have a product of Emily's recommendations to really fill in my brows. I don't have a pencil or a pomade, but I do have the Essence Make Me Brow, and this is a brow gel that she has recommended for a very long time, and this has been one of my favorites for a very long time. It does a really nice job of adding a little bit of a tint to your brows, but it holds them in place so well all day long. I'm not sure if this would be great if you don't really have any brow hair to begin with, but if you're already pretty naturally bushy browed, I don't know if I have bushy brows, but I definitely have brow hairs. If you already have a lot of brow hair naturally, I think this is a really, really great option from the drugstore. So now it is time to set our face, and unfortunately I don't have a setting spray from Emily. I wish I did. I have to go to the store today and get a new like kind of dewy setting spray because I'm running out of mine. But I know that she loves the Mario Badescu one, so I might grab one of those, but I'm gonna hop off camera, spray my face, and then we'll come back and finish off the eyes. So we are back. My face is set down, so we're going to dip back into the Sweet Peach palette, and I'm going to dip into the shade Puree, just on that same M433, because honestly, we're just going for an easy, quick, kind of lazy eye look today. And I'm just going to smoke this out under the lower lash line. I feel like I need an inner corner highlight, and there's not really one that suits my skin tone in here. So I'm going to dip back into Flexitarian, and I'm just going to take a little bit on my pinky and just pop it in the inner corner. And then for my brow bone, I guess we can try to dip back into here for my brow bone. I'm just going to take a little bit of white peach. We'll just do a matte brow bone highlight for today. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This one's from AOA Studio. It's the E126. I'll just run it along the brow bone for a little bit of added brightness. And now, you guys, it is time for mascara. So for mascara, I'm going to go in with my Essence Lash Princess mascara. This has been one that Emily has talked about for quite a while, and it's been one of my favorites for a very long time. The one that I have today is the waterproof version. I unfortunately do not have the regular version at the moment, but I'm kind of thinking about picking it up again after using this one. I forgot how amazing this mascara is. I've been using Lash Paradise for so long, but after going cruelty-free, I need a cruelty-free option, and Lash Paradise is not cruelty-free. So I'm just going to curl my lashes super quick and apply a little bit of this mascara. I mean, come on. You cannot argue how good these lashes are. So finally, we are on to lips, and I pulled out two products. The first one is the Marc Jacobs, I believe these are called like the La Marque liquid lip crayons. This one's in the shade, oh, it just fell out. I like took the cap off and it fell out. No! This is all that I can find of it. Well, I guess that makes the decision for me. I guess I am not using this, but this was the La Marque liquid lip crayon. It's a really pretty color. I got it in a Sephora like favorites or like new lip something kit. We'll see if I can find the other end, but I think this is gonna have to go bye-bye. But there's the shade. It was a really pretty shade, and Emily raved about these. They were like one of her favorite lip products of last year, I believe. The other product that I grabbed is the Buxom Plumpful Lip Balms. She reviewed these last Christmas. This one was part of a holiday set and really raved about them, and these have been one of my favorite products of 2019. I grabbed the set after she was like raving about it, and they've been so wonderful. They're not the most moisturizing balms ever, but they're really low maintenance. They come in a couple of colors and that are actually impactful, so I really love to just wear these on an everyday basis. But this is the completed look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this. And I really had a fun time kind of going through these products, kind of going down memory lane, revisiting some old favorites and things that I haven't used in a while. For the most part, Emily has almost never steered me wrong. I feel like her recommendations that I haven't been super wowed by were really only the Fit Me powder, the Poreless Putty Primer, and then kind of the Sweet Peach palette, but I feel like that's more because mine is expiring rather than her recommending a poor product. Before you guys go, let me know down in the comments below what you've bought off her recommendations, and let me know what YouTuber I should do next. I would really like to do one on like Kelly Gooch, maybe Kathleen Lights, and maybe a couple of other people too. Let me know down below what you guys want to see, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!